Pakistan is one of the very few countries of the world that are blessed with snow-capped mountains, lush green plains, vast deserts, and an enormous coastline bordering an ocean. To go with this unique topography, the country also enjoys a climate typically marked by 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Not to be outdone by these bounties of nature, the land is also watered by many rivers, including the mighty Indus that flows across the entire north-south axis of Pakistan and through all of its provinces. In July 2010, devastating monsoon rains caused the rivers Swat, Kabul and Indus to swell and overflow, playing havoc with everything and anything that came in their way. The westerly winds, creating unprecedented downpour, further aggravated this flooding, transforming it into a catastrophic deluge, the likes of which this nation has never seen before in its entire history.
If you look at any dimension, the number of schools destroyed, the number of health facilities destroyed, the number of roads and bridges destroyed, I think this surpasses all the other disasters in the world.
The damage boggles the mind. Nearly 2,000 men, women, and children have lost their lives. Apart from this loss of precious human life, Pakistan's worst ever natural disaster has taken a heavy toll of valuable infrastructure and property, with hundreds of thousands of livestock killed. Over 1 million acres of standing crops washed away, thousands of kilometers of roads and hundreds of bridges damaged or destroyed. Truly, nothing could withstand the rage of the Indus River at its most furious in living memory. In many places, entire villages and large swathes of agricultural land were totally wiped out. Others have been submerged, cut off or marooned, forcing people to flee, making millions homeless.
तो बेटा हमारा घर खराब है, कोई मेरे जगह नहीं है, मैं किधर जाऊंगा?
According to a UN estimate, 21 million people have been displaced, most of whom have lost their kith and kin, their livelihood, as well as their lifelong savings. Estimated losses have been valued at over $43 billion. The damage assessment, as it stood by mid-September 2010, is as follows. Affected people number over 17.8 million. Human lives lost are 1,767, with 2,865 people injured. Nearly 5.5 million acres of agricultural land has been affected in 14,208 villages in 79 districts. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa alone, 24 districts have been affected, in Sindh 19, Punjab 12, Balochistan 10, and in Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir 7 each.
This was a slow evolving disaster in which we saw Khyber Pakhtunkhwa coming under pressure in the first instance, and then water passing through Punjab and then going to Sindh. So it was like sequential, which allowed us to articulate our resources in accordance with the damages that were happening in a particular province.
As always, in this hour of need also, the armed forces of Pakistan, true to their reputation, promptly sprang into action in aid of the civil administration and were the first to reach out to people in the affected areas to provide rescue and immediate relief. All relief efforts have been carried out by the army without any special budget allocation. Chief of Army Staff, General Ashfaq Parvez Kiani, while visiting the flood-affected areas, expressed his deep concern about the flood victims and reiterated Pak Army's commitment to utilize all available resources to continue its rescue and relief efforts. He also announced that all officers and jawans of the army would contribute 1 day's salary towards the flood relief fund. The facts and figures tell their own story. A total of approximately 72,000 troops drawn from 88 battalions of 8 different corps, along with 943 boats and 70 helicopters, have been employed for the help of flood victims. No less than 834,199 affected people have been rescued. With over 13,000 tons of dry ration distributed and cooked food provided to almost 7 million affected families. The role of Pakistan Air Force, Pakistan Navy, Army Aviation, Frontier Works Organization and Civil Armed Forces is no less important in the ongoing rescue and relief operations side by side their brethren in arms of the Pakistan Army.
We treated about 90,000 patients during this time. We distributed about 8,000 tents and about 2,300 tons of non-food items.
Relief work in Gilgit-Baltistan, Swat and Neelam Valley has been sustained by the Pakistan Army in coordination with the National Disaster Management Authority. Away from their homes, the flood victims were not forgotten on the occasion of Eid, as armed forces personnel joined them to share the festivity with a touch of solemnity.
This damage is unparalleled, and therefore I think it's not within the capacity of the government of Pakistan all by itself to take on this daunting challenge, though it's going to make every endeavor to do so. But I think international relief will be critical to the success of the reconstruction and early recovery effort.
Continuing with their relief efforts, the Pakistan Army established 7 field hospitals and 32 medical camps, with 22 mobile teams reaching out to the affected people. Arranged at a short notice, over 180 medical officers and 310 paramedics treated over 215,000 patients. With Chinese assistance, Pakistan Army delivered 100 containers of relief goods. Besides that, 50 tons of army rations are being provided daily. In addition, 345 trucks, 8 C-130 planes and trains full of relief goods were collected and provided to the affected area.
एक चीज़ मैं तुहानू दस दियां कि इंशाअल्लाह तुहानू अपने पैर ते खड़ा करके असीं वापस जावांगे, ठीक है। थोड़ी देर हो जाएगी लेकिन होता ही नहीं। देखो ना जिस वेले 5 लाख बंदा होए या 25 लाख बंदा होए, 25 लाख का सामान एक दिन के अंदर तो नहीं पहुँच सकता। तुहाडे कई साथी ने जिन्होंने असीं अज अपने घरां सामान पहुँचाना शुरू कर दिता, ठीक है ना। अज तो शुरू कर दिता, उन्होंने घरां सामान पहुँचाना शुरू कर दिता और 2-4 दिन के अंदर तुहाडी बारी भी आ जाएगी।
International assistance from Afghanistan, Australia, Bangladesh, Canada, China, Indonesia, Japan, Jordan, NATO, Palestine, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Turkey, UAE, USA, and from other countries has also come in the form of medical teams, field hospitals, tent villages, helicopters, equipment, disaster rescue and boat teams, and other allied services. President of Pakistan, Asif Ali Zardari, Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani, and the 4 provincial chief ministers have been visiting the flood-affected areas and putting in their best efforts to raise funds for the relief and rehabilitation of flood victims. As the nation stood shocked and the world stunned, the resolve of the common man has been exemplary in the face of this epic disaster. The Pakistani people's will to fight against all odds is once again on show. The civil society, including individual donors, charity organizations, NGOs, small businessmen, philanthropists, media channels, national and international celebrities, and many others are all out chipping in with cash and kind in aid of flood victims. The United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, arrived in Pakistan to express sympathy and solidarity with the people and the government of Pakistan. Speaking after an aerial survey of the flood-affected areas, Mr. Ban said that this was the worst disaster he saw in his life and urged the international community to expedite the provision of assistance to those affected.
And I'm working together with the President Zaldari to bring you back to your home as soon as possible.
The United States has pledged an extra $60 million in help, bringing America's total aid to $150 million. In a video message, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton appealed to the American public to donate generously to a newly established Pakistan Relief Fund. The World Bank has, so far, raised flood aid to Pakistan to $1 billion, while the IMF approved $450 million in emergency financing to help the nation cope with its worst ever humanitarian disaster. United Nations Goodwill Ambassador Angelina Jolie visited Pakistan to draw the world's attention towards the plight of 21 million people affected by the floods.
It is on such a huge scale. It is an extraordinarily complex situation.
Floods have affected 1/5 of Pakistan.
1/5 of Pakistan is underwater. Thousands of people died in the initial flooding, and the threat of disease now looms for 20 million affected people.
The First Lady of Turkey, Madam Hairunisa Gul, has donated 500 single-unit rooms for providing temporary shelter to the flood victims at Bir Sabak village in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. While the relief work has come a long way, helping the millions of homeless and jobless back on their feet remains a challenge. The extent of material damage has been colossal. The prospect of waterborne diseases, gastroenteritis, and malaria breaking out after the floods recede is only going to heighten the human misery. The United Nations said that millions of people are still in need of food, shelter, water, and medicine. The delivery of assistance in the affected areas has been slow. A second wave of deaths among the sick and hungry is imminent unless help reaches. The challenge ahead is truly gigantic. The road to recovery and rehabilitation lies in strategic planning. Pakistan Army has charted out a 5-phase plan for this purpose. Reconstruction and rehabilitation depends on optimum resource mobilization. Damage and need assessment will be carried out by the World Bank and Asian Development Bank through National Disaster Management Authority. National Database and Registration Authority will register and disburse cash relief to the victims. The bottom line is how soon we can mobilize our resources, human, material, and financial. To overcome its worst ever natural disaster, Pakistan is looking forward to the generosity of the world community and above all to the overseas Pakistanis. Pakistan is our only home. Never before has it been so much in need of human compassion and assistance as it does now. On its part, the nation is ready to face the challenge and offer any sacrifice for rebuilding a brighter and stronger Pakistan.